Okay, guys, today in the last video you saw me adjust the back brakes and I couldn't figure out why they were locking up. And as I said, that every time I've been trying to fix something on this truck, I find something worse. So as you can see, that is the center pin for my left leaf pack, and you can see it has shifted. It shifted a lot, that even these little spacers here are all kind of turned which way. And when I hit the brakes or hit the gas, it shifts back and forth and throws my steering wheel from this way to this way. You know, it won't stay in alignment. And I was chatting with my boss the other day, and these are my keepers because I have the heavy half-ton rear suspension and axle, which is actually a 2500 truck leaf spring setup. I have keeper bolts, and these are the spring keepers. They wrap around and keep the ends all, you know, lined up and everything. And these are the bolts. And as you can see, the thread part is skinnier than the shaft part. And what happens is, since I put the add leaf in, you can slide it in there, but it hits the spring and it won't go down, and it won't line up with the screw hole, which is smaller on the other side. It just won't do it. So I did clean these up. I was going to reuse them. So what I did is, today I sent my wife to the hardware store to find bolts that are the same size as these threads, to eliminate this thicker shaft, so that I can put bolts in there and make an effort to keep all this contained. And while she's doing that, today's video, I'm also going to do the other side. It's got a little bit of a lean to it, not as drastic as this side. So I'm going to show you how to, you know, replace the center leak, and it'll show you how to actually replace a leaf if you ever need to replace one of your leaves, except for this top one. You can do that without removing the entire piece from the truck. And I already have the new pins here. See, that's really loose right now, and it should be nice and snug. And it should be all these should be centered. That should be, you know, pretty much straight up and down. And I've already got my new jack stands after the Subaru incident. These are 3-ton stands, and they're still not tall enough for the 6-inch lift. So I have paver bricks and a couple blocks of wood, and under the axle I have the jack, because I'm actually going to have to lower the axle down to get everything apart here, because I'm just doing one side at a time to help make sure the shaft doesn't swing from side to side. If you only let one down at a time, it'll maintain its orientation from left to right, and you won't have an alignment issue that way. So now that I've wasted a couple minutes talking about what we're going to do, we're going to actually sit down and do it. So we're going to get these. There's 4 bolts here that retain. There's 4 bolts here that retain these nuts. So we're going to take all 4 of them off. There's 2 here on the rear U-bolt and 2 on the front, and mine are 22 millimeter. Some of them are 24, 25. So we're going to take them off and take this lower plate off so we can slide the U-bolts out. So of course we're going to use the impact because it's so much faster. Well, it's supposed to be faster. Except for when you're down a battery bar. So we're down to one battery bar, which apparently is not enough to take those U-bolts off. So we're going to switch up to a brand new full battery bar. And make sure we're going in the right direction. Well, I don't understand. Alright, why do you gotta be so difficult? Well, these back ones just don't want to budge, which isn't good. Okay, so there is one of the front ones. Okay, we got this front one off, okay, but I don't know what the deal is with this back one. So, you can pull, that's the whole U-bolt right there. This is the longer one for the lift kit. So the front's off. I don't know what's the deal with the back. But I guess we are going to have a problem with this. Everything is loose on this thing. I don't understand this at all. I don't know what the deal is here. Now that my socket's nice and hot. It's working, I guess, on one of them. You know, I just put these on in March. So I don't understand what the deal is with them. Because what I did last year, I did the 4-inch lift. Because that's all I really wanted. But the bigger tires were rubbing on the front fenders on the right side really bad. It was bending it up. So I ended up getting the add leaf and putting the add leaf in March this year. So these U-bolts have not been on that long. get corroded like that though. I just don't know. Because I kind of need them out of the way. I don't know. Because this is the top plate that goes on top of everything. The hole is big enough for the nut for the new pin to go through. So you gotta get it off to take off the nut for the center pin. And I can get that off, but I've got to be able to get this block out. You know, I don't have to drop the axle much, just enough to get the block out so I can take the pin off. With the block out, the pin will slide right out, and then I can align everything again and put the new pin in. But I've still got this one bolt. It doesn't want to budge. Maybe we'll try it by hand. Get my ratchet. Get my big ratchet and see what we can do with this. It's just going to take forever doing it this way. I really don't want to have like two parts to this stuff here. Because really it doesn't take that long when things come apart properly. So what I might do is pause this for a minute while I do this manually. And then restart when I'm ready to get everything off. So just a minute. For you guys it'll be a second. So it was a second for you guys, but about 3 minutes for me to get this all the way down by hand. And it's out. It's nice and hot now. So to get all your U-bolts out, nuts off, then you got to get your plate off. It's your rear axle plate, and slide the other U-bolt off, and there you have it. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that was really weird. As to what happened to this U-bolt. So that's the U-bolt. They're off. Now I'm just going to lower the axle just enough to get that block out. Okay, that didn't work out right. Because of one thing, you've got to hold your leaf pack together. And I even had the C-clamp out here to do that with. So the leaf pack started to separate because this bolt's bad. So we're going to bring the leaf pack together with the C-clamp. And we'll try one more time. Because it's as low as the jack would go. Okay. It is not moving me. Block is loose. Bolt's really loose. So, I don't know what else I can do. So we're gonna support this side of the axle since it's apart, at least enough to get the jack out from underneath there and move it over here. So if I can move it over here, then I can lower it down as far as I possibly can. So now we'll take the other jack stand out, and I hope this will lower the axle enough to get that block out. Just like that. Okay. Now that we can get the block out, just like that. Not much to this block. Now we get to the center pin. Now this is a 15 millimeter. And I'm hoping it'll just turn all the way up for me without the use of vice grips. But I have them ready. So it's coming up. So I'm not going to tape all of it. I'll be back in just a second for you guys. because it's going to take a while to get that all the way off. So just a quick minute and I'll be back. Alright guys, that took a couple minutes there to get this off, and I have got another C-clamp because it started to twist on me. So to keep everything level, I'm going to use 2 C-clamps for now. So give me one more second and we'll finish the video. So with the 2 C-clamps, now the overload spring and everything is all leveled up, and this pin is actually kind of sort of straight in here. So it took about 2 or 3 minutes to get this all the way wound up, and I did end up having to use a pair of vice grips on the bottom. That just because there's no threaded, no nut there, it's just rounded. So check the damage out here. Oh, okay. Apparently this pin's a little longer than I thought. So we're gonna have to drop the axle a little more. If it drops more. Well, that's about all it's gonna drop. So, apparently the pin's longer than I thought it was. There we go, we'll just try to get it down. Go down by the axle. Okay, so as you can see, this pin is kind of bent. So you can see there's the little chips and everything here from sliding back and forth all the time. But I'm not going to be able to finish putting all this back together for you guys because everything was shifted and it trashed the threads on my back U-bolt, which is why it was giving me such grief coming off. So I'm going to need to get a new U-bolt too, and I have some down at work. So what I'm going to do today for you guys is put everything back together except for the U-joint or the U-bolts. I will get the front one on, but unfortunately that's all I'm going to be able to do today. But it gives you an idea of what to do if you ever have to do anything like this. And this goes for spring replacement, because all you have to do is open your C-clamps and your springs will separate and every one will come right off except for the main leaf. So if you ever have to replace a leaf and you don't want to pay a garage to do it, as long as it's not the main leaf, or you have to fight with the shackle bolt and the body mount bolt up on the front. But anyways, here's the new pin. See the bottom end that goes down into the spring perch is just rounded, so you have to vice grip it to hold it in place. So we got the nut off, and we're going to attempt to slide it up the same way I got this other one out. So it is going up in there, sort of. Here we go. loosen these up a little bit more so I can get a little bit more play. And this is probably gonna turn into a two-parter anyways. So if I turn it into a two-parter, then the rest of the reassembly I will show you with a new U-bolt. As long as I can get them from work, that shouldn't be a problem. If I can't get into work, because I'm on vacation, but I didn't go anywhere because of the virus, of course. So if I can get my boss to come down to the shop and let me get the U-bolts that I have from the other lift, then I can make a complete part 2 of the whole reinstallation. But this pin is looking really straight now. I'm gonna go get the hammer though. I'm gonna try and tap things around a little bit. Make sure all the shims get all happy and everything back in alignment. As you can see, the more you let the C-clamps go, everything just continues to slide down. That one didn't want to adjust, so we make it adjust. Alright. I believe that's as straight as I'm going to get that pin myself. So we're going to clamp everything back down tight. And install the center bolt nut. Because you don't want to just put the nut on with the springs all exposed, all stretched out, because these pins will strip out really fast. So what you do is you use the C-clamps to tighten everything, and then run your bolt down. Just trying to make it straight ish while I compress everything. So that's how you replace the center pin, at least the first video, how to take it apart. And you just take your nut and then drive it all the way down. So give me a second, and I'll get that down to the point of tightening it. Alright, I got it down to the bottom, and you just snug it up. You don't do too much, because you can strip them out. And that's it. That's how you replace the center pin on pretty much any leaf spring. Fords and Dodges, some of them have different pins to line up things better than just one center pin. But Chevys have just one center pin. Any year, doesn't matter, new, brand new, old, whatever. So I had to use two C-clamps to make sure things stayed level with this overload. So without the U-bolt, that's going to do it for this half of the install. So I'll be back with a part 2 when I get another U-bolt, either later today or tomorrow. Alright, you guys have fun.